Mick Marshall fighting from the red corner, and he's up against James Edwards out of the blue corner.
This is a super middleweight Australian title fight, 8 2-minute rounds. Mick Marshall's a very seasoned fighter, but he's been unlucky in his 3 last starts. Been very controversial decisions where his trainers felt he won the fights, but he lost on points. But that's the name of the game. But there's been some controversy over his last 2 to 3 losses.
Well, it'd be very important for him to put a decisive score on the board tonight, then.
Oh, definitely. He won't want to lose 4 in a row. He'll start to lose ratings totally, and he'll have trouble getting back on his main cards.
Covers some nice distance with those leg kicks. Comes from right outside.
He's doing a lot of work with the legs. Of course, now we're coming back to super middle. This is usually a reverse sport to boxing. Usually the smaller guys are much more exciting than the heavyweights because of the leg work. It comes, in fact, the best fighters are the Thai boxers that only weigh up to like 45 kilos. So that's where this sport is really exciting. But the heavyweights did a very good job. But as you can see, there's a lot more speed, a lot more finesse, a lot more techniques being used by these super middleweights.
Well, I'm inclined to think that's the way it is with traditional boxing too. You know, your lighter fighters give you so much more pace, and their evasive actions are so much better.
Sure, when you look at, say, Sugar Ray Leonard compared to Muhammad Ali, yeah. And here we've got the same thing happening. I'm not too sure about the boy from Brisbane. Richard, do you know much about the young boy from Brisbane?
Not a lot. He's been training 4 years in kickboxing. His record is 16-3-1. He's had 15 kickboxing matches and 5 boxing matches. So he's not without experience, that's for sure.
Well, as I said, Mick Marshall's a very seasoned fighter, and he's had 13 or 14 fights. I'm not sure, 13 or 14 fights. He's just had bad luck in his last 3 outs. They feel the judges...
Ooh, nice whip kick to the head by Mick, luckily missing.
Yeah. Parting the hair. Mick's not putting much power into the leg kicks. I feel that's a problem with his. He doesn't lunge in when he kicks from a stationary position, so he's losing at least 40% power. He's not cutting the angle off. If you don't move the forward front, if you don't move the forward foot, Ken, you'll notice that it's a 180 degree. He's got the left foot on the floor, he kicks with the right leg, it's 180 degrees to get to the opponent. If he steps across with the left leg, he cuts that back to about 100 degrees, so the kick's much more powerful.
Right.
There we have round 1, Ken.
Okay, the end of round 1. How did you see it, Bob?
Well, it's a bit hard. They're foxing one another out and both doing a lot. But I wouldn't say either fighter outscored the other. I'd say we had a 20-20 decision there.
Well, just about ready for round 2. It's an 8-round event, as we told you. And a good way to go for these boxers yet.
Mick Marshall is the kind of fighter that usually takes his pace, sets himself up, and he puts the pressure on every round. So it'll be interesting if he follows that format, or if Queensland allow him to follow that format tonight. Because the young kid from Queensland's here to have a go too, for sure.
Yeah, he's obviously come to fight. He's in very good shape.
Now, Mick stepping
nice
up. Dave Hitchcock must have got into Mick Marshall. He's stepping up on that lead kick now. He's cutting that angle across. That's what gives the kick so much more power, is just stepping across to your opponent's back leg.
Another nice switch round to the body.
He's got the words. I think Dave Hitchcock's the trainer of Mick Marshall. Has fixed that job up. As we said, the silent champions, the ones that do the work between the rounds, can turn the fight around. And of course, Dave Hitchcock is our most represented trainer in the country.
Another nice scoring round kick there.
So Mick Marshall's trained this evening has developed more Australian champions than any other trainer in the country. And Mick Marshall's one of his proteges. So it'll be interesting to see. But these young kids from Queensland have certainly got some nice combinations from hand to foot.
Very nice. And obviously, you're going to difference from the heavyweight is the mobility they're using, and that's the idea, is not to stay in there too long and cock too many of those leg kicks.
Because these lighter guys, you see they're really stamping that forward foot up. That gives that kick as much power as the heavyweights have got. If the heavyweights fighting flat-footed, which they were before.
Now, it must be pretty important, too, to take a toll with that kick, because constant kicking's got to be fairly draining on you, surely. It's a lot harder than throwing punches.
You're using such a large muscle group that it just wears you out. That's why a lot of, even though there might be good kickers in the school, you don't see a lot of high kicking in these matches, because obviously they want to conserve energy. Yeah. And it takes a very talented kicker to continually kick to the head, over a series of rounds.
We've got the corner man hitting the United States this evening in the main event as Peter Cunningham. He's the Australian, the world super lightweight champion. And he just kicks everywhere all the time. As an example, as they get light. But look at this fight picking up.
Nice exchange of punches.
Both fighters really going for it. This is WKA rules, so the fighters are only allowed to kick outside the leg. They're not allowed to kick inside, so the referee will be on that if it happens. But you'll see how that leg kick outside sets up the hands, Ken.
Certainly does.
The idea of the sport.
And at the end of round 2, 6 rounds to go, and this very important Australian super middleweight title bout. All right, we're back to the action as the boxers come back into center ring with Mick Hannafy ready to start them on round 3.
Oh, a nice combination from Mick Marshall.
Yeah, as I said, with Dave Hedgecock in the corner, I think he's more experienced than, or has developed more champions than the Queensland trainers. So it'll be very interesting. There's a lot of business going on between the rounds here, between the two trainers, competing with knowledge to get their fighters to turn around and get the fight in their advantage. Ooh, right hand.
Right hand score from
Mick looked like Mick Marshall appears to be giving away a bit of weight this fight to him, and on the scales they were very close, but the young boy from Brisbane's put on a bit of weight since the weigh-in this morning and appears to have a couple of kilos advantage on Mick Marshall, but may not be the case as the fight progresses. Certainly no advantage at the moment. Mick Marshall's scoring very well, and so this round so far is going Mick Marshall. He's got the cleaner scoring. So that front kick he picked him off there.
Very poised, Marshall, isn't he?
Yes, he's thinking. He's got one problem, Mick Marshall. He's got a temper, and he's easy to upset. A lot of fighters play on that strategy. But as he gets more experienced and he learns to control his temper, he's going to be a good fighter in the future. He's a keen fighter. As I said, I don't know much about the Queensland boy, but Mick Marshall is a fighter, and he'll keep coming back no matter what. As I said, he's had 3 losses in a row, but he's back here again, going for it again tonight. So he desperately needs a win tonight.
Yeah.
But James Edwards, a young, good-looking surfing kid from Queensland, by the look of him, he's certainly here to put up the best he can.
Oh, nice combination.
Well, heavy leg kick and double punch.
Leg kick followed with the double punch.
He's weaving nice too. Come in with the hooks there.
Oh, another nice couple of hits. Very cool fighter though, Mick, isn't he?
I'm just watching the trainer, man. They're fighting now.
Yeah.
The two Hedgecocks. Hedgecock Senior and Hedgecock Junior doing more than the fighter right at the moment.
Ooh, nice round.
Well, there we go. End of round 3. Plenty of action in that one, Richard.
That's for sure. I think Mick scored was a nice combinations there. It's a very combination set up. That leg kick followed in with a nice punch combination. Stans, of course, won a lot of his fights setting it up with that low round leg kick coming in with the left hook.
Well, coming up to the halfway. Round 4.
That's it, Ken. There's 4 more rounds to go. We're exactly halfway. So it'll be interesting to see now if the fight turns or if both fighters keep taking it up to one another.
Oh, nice left round kick from Mick Marshall.
James Edwards, he's hanging in there, isn't he? He's getting point for point.
Notice Mick, though, fighting very smart using those ropes and using that front leg while leaning on the ropes. Conserves a bit of energy and it's very deceptive.
Yes, he looks to be a little more canny fighter than Edwards.
Yep. That's why you notice a lot of the fighters, the first thing they do is they check those ropes. They want to see how much slack they have, how much they can lean on them, and again, use that to their advantage.
Plus, there was a bit of problem with the floor today, Richard. The fighters were complaining because we don't wear boots like boxers, we fight barefoot, and some of the fighters were complaining about the surface being not really smooth, which affects us more.
Mick Marshall coming in with some heavy combinations. James Edwards going to get the count.
And his corner going crooked, Marshall. Should have gotten in there and killed him, I said.
He's all right. He's ready to go with it. Oh, I think he's in a lot of trouble now. Getting hit with uppercuts and hooks. Another standing 8 count.
Well, the kid in a spot of bottle at this stage.
I hear the referee telling the Brisbane fighter one more chance. So if he doesn't recover now and get on top, he'll start to defend himself.
Oh, he's coming back strong now. He's in there. Oh, inside leg
Gutsy
kick.
stuff from him.
Mick Marshall going right in for it now. Uppercuts, hooks.
Well, giving him everything he's got. Mick Marshall really ploughing into the boy from Queensland. Sent back to the corner again. Once again, and if he puts the count on.
Mick Hanifey doing the right thing, of course. The ultimate thing is to look after the fighters. He's a young fighter. He's got a long way to go.
And bell time again. That's the way it goes, but it gives Edwards the time to sit down at the end of round 4.
Well, the referee, I feel, the decision. I always like to go for safety because we have a replay coming up.
Yes, some of that action coming up.
It's fast and furious. Mick Marshall's really taking control of the fight now.
Both fighters swamping.
James Edwards will be really feeling some of those shots. They're coming in very strong.
Yeah, boy, he's really taking some punishment there, as we can see.
Mick Marshall's got away with a couple of inside leg kicks there, but the referee hasn't picked it up, so I guess that's his advantage. But a couple of those inside legs, there's another one there. That inside leg kicking is illegal, but the referee...
Yeah, he copped 2 of those actually in that round. It's very hard, of course, for the fighters. They're trained to do both, and suddenly they're excluded from doing one out of reflex.
That was the problem, yeah. Because they're in the training, the boys are using, they use elbows as well. So here we go.
Okay, round 5. They're back in action, and the boy from Queensland now, James Edwards, with the job in front of him. Mick Marshall looking pretty good. See how they fare.
As I was saying, Ken, a lot of guys, when they train, particularly in my classes, we always emphasise using the elbows and the knees.
Yeah.
So prior to a fight, it depends how quick you cut those extra weapons out. Sometimes the fighters stay on those programs too long, and that's why you'll see an inside kick just get slipped in.
Tend to slip one in, and there's a reflex action more than anything else.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we just hope the elbows. I noticed, I think round 2, Mick Marshall almost let an elbow go, but he pulled it up just before it set sail. He's looking too strong in this round as well, isn't he? He's well up in control of the fight now.
He's really taking control.
Is the punishment starting to tell on the young Queenslander? Marshall's experience obviously working for him. He's bowing, scoring in there relentlessly. And
the problem is now the Brisbane boy is quiet. Mick Marshall now can sacrifice that front leg. He can take those kicks from the Brisbane boy now to score with their overhand right hand. So it's a weird technique there where you actually let the fighter kick you so that you can jam on the kick and get your strong right hand off, which does more damage than the kick because the fighter's tight. If that makes sense.
Oh, another nice left hook from Mick Marshall.
And again. And a right. And a
nice leg kick.
There we go. So.
Back to the corner. He's declared it over. That's it. Well, there we go. It didn't go the distance. Mick Marshall obviously very pleased with the result of that. As Bob had told us, he's lost the last 3, needed to win that one. And coming out from the red corner in the 3rd consecutive win to the red corner too, as Mick Marshall takes it in 5 against James Edwards.
Nice fight from James. Young fighter, he's got a good future in front of him.
Yeah, I think just the experience there. Mick Marshall is also, he's been really tuned up to those 3 controversial losses. But there'll be no stopping Mick Marshall now. He needed that win. Yep. I think it'll be a long time before we see Mick Marshall lose again.
I think so too.
Well, let's have a look at the...
Oh, there's that left hook coming in.
There's the reason the referee stopped it. Mick Marshall right on top here. It's a rather pointless letting the fight keep going. Letting a young guy from Queensland get hurt. No point whatsoever. Even though I think the crowd's a bit disappointed.
And there's a kick. Takes the legs out from under him, and that's it. Good night.
Oh, that right hand would have done damage. He was just about to let that right hand go. That would have done damage.
So a great performance there from Mick Marshall from the red corner to take the WKA Australian super middleweight title in 5 rounds from James Edwards of Queensland.